What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit and I'm on max speed because our player here in the left-hand corner of the map, he is on his account called Cha, but he is indeed Nyan Racing Cat. His opponent today in the red color, our resident playing everything under the sun expert. His name is Kido. And yeah, we've got ourselves a Ra player here. So Gaia versus Ra. I actually think this matchup, just to kick off this one a little bit, I think this one slightly does favor our Gaia a little bit. Gaia's got a lot of really nice tools in this matchup. She's got the really fast catapulties, which can shut down those Migdal units. So if you go Oceanus, you can have super speedy catapulties. And if it happens to be a really like difficult to defend map, like Nile Shallows, like Steppe, this is Nile Shallows, but sometimes you can get a very defensive Nile Shallows. I mean, you can get very aggressive Nile Shallows. You have to scout it out. You can go Leto here and make use of the Autobots, of which Ra doesn't really have a fantastic answer against. So Set and Isis have both got Nephthys to get the super priests out and the cheaper priests out. But Ra kind of has to rely on his Betsukos to take out those Automaton, which if he can get there, it's going to be really strong, a nice way to respond. But it is very gold heavy to make that happen. And on a map where things are very open, it can be difficult to get to that second gold mine. Alternatively, get to Son of Osiris, obviously, but that's another, that's a completely different situation for why we probably wouldn't go Leto on a closed map, where it's really difficult to get damage done, because your opponent will get to Son of Osiris, and that will kill off your Automatons. So you can see where the logic is there. Alternatively, you can go Leto and not go Automatons and save the favor for like a Heroic Age Behemoth or Stymphalian Bird, or even save it for the late game. If you really feel like it's going to be a hyper late game type situation, you can go for the Lampedes in the Mythic Age with Hecate. You can go, what's it called? Leto's got that upgrade. Brain not functioning. Prophetic Sight, and then you can get the other one as well. I'll just show you guys. Here you go. You can go for these two here. You can go for Perception and Prophetic Sight. And they can both give you a little bit more favor boost. So you can get 20% extra favor boost, which is quite a bit. All right, we've got some relics over here. We've got the Sharon's Obol. A little bit of villager reduction, cost reduction there. Over here, we've got the scales of Echidna. With gold minus 15%. Into the middle of the map, we've got the Kopesh of Horus. Plus 1x versus myth units. And onto the bottom of the map, we do have ourselves the Fur of Boit, which is going to, or is it Boy? I think it's Boy, which is going to be the regeneration rate for your heroes going up. So, I mean, Kido's got quite a few different options here. He can go really aggressive in the classical age, right? Like, build a big death ball, and it's not going to matter how much eco the Gaia has. You're not going to be able to kill that death ball all too easily. It does require a lot of really good micro with Caraballister and use of Dialush and things like that. Pretty interested in seeing how he's going to take this one. He does go for both of his economic upgrades, and he does have himself Bowsaw pre-queued. So he wants that as soon as he possibly can, which does mean he isn't planning to go for a second town center, a fast second town center, but it also means he's not going for any early aggression. He wants to be the defender in this matchup, and of course he will be the defender in this matchup, but he wants to really play it very defensively. Not leaving his base, wait for these technologies to pay themselves off. Super early Bowsaw, I mean, I think it's good. I think it does pay itself off, but with only a handful of villages on wood, it does take a long time for it to actually come through. But nonetheless, we've got some counter barracks coming in. Double counter barracks for Mass Terma. Now, this is something that Ra is somewhat scared of. The answer to Mass Terma is going to be Priest. That's the most important unit to have in your army against Terma, because the Terma aren't actually going to be able to kill anything with good micro, and you can just heal up the damage that they do. So you can go Spearman here, you can go Wadjet here, but make sure you get out a good 5 to 8 Priest early on. The only problem for Kido is he doesn't know what's coming for him, and this is part of the difficulties of playing Ra. So he does have to take some guesses here, as he will be able to realize what's happening. Right. He's coming. Nope, not coming. Still staying outside of the... Now, he will know what's coming right now, because this is way too many Terma to be one counter barracks. So you have to make yourself... You have to kind of make some really, really good guesses, basically, when you're playing as Ra, as to figure out what your opponent's doing, how to defend against it. Of course, priests in general are just really good to have in your army, so it's not a terrible thing for Kido to do this. He does build a Slinger, which I don't particularly like. Just Spearman to kick the game off is going to be a nice little opener. But nonetheless, we've got the mana coming into the main base for Nyan here. I much prefer to see these getting dropped outside of the base and start grabbing this gold mine. It's always fine to just run from the forward gold mines, but you're getting yourself just that little bit more playability on the defense when the big death ball comes, because you just leave that position. Right now, the Gaia player's got the advantage. The Gaia player she's got the map. So be quick, get out onto the map, grab the gold mines, and enjoy. Over onto this side, the Terma do get greeted by those Spearmen, and so long as the does decide to pull back, so long as the Spearmen are attacking the Terma, you do get the snare there, and you can actually chase it down and kill them. Now we've got the electrum bullets coming through as well here for Kido, which will boost up these slings. I'm surprised he's gone into Slinger here. Like, the Slinger used to be kind of borderline versus the Terma and would win in the matchup, but I have this feeling the Terma actually win now, because the Slingers are doing like one whole DPS less, which is a big nerf in the kind of counter archer war. But Spearmen are perfectly fine and useful units. Wadgets are perfectly fine, useful units versus the Terma as well. As the Spearmen charge forward, I'm gonna try and take out this Terma here. It does manage to pick that one off there. And like I said, if you get caught out with the Terma, you will get snared and not be able to escape the Spearmen. But now, our main man, Nyan Racing Cat, gonna make a bit of a transition into some Murmillos, and we do see Sekhmet on the way. So I think the idea here from Kido is going to be, he's still got a ways to go to get to Sekhmet, but I think the idea for Kido here is if he goes for Spearman Slinger for the entirety of this game, then the Sekhmet is going to force out Contarius, because you can't really build Murmillos or Terma or Arcus or Caraballister into that. You have to go into Contarius, which does mean that then Kido can happily just stick to Spearman Slinger and be in a nice little position there. But his gold mine is exposed here. He's got to be very careful on this gold mine, as the Terma can keep popping in there, but the Wadgets are an amazing defensive resource, so Nine's not going to be able to get any damage. He needs to figure out a way to take these bad boys out, which probably isn't going to be possible. So either he has to mass up an army, stay classical age, and be looking to gold starve here or here, or obviously at the top, which is a little bit difficult, though maybe it works with a whole bunch of Caladria, and if your opponent's going to be going heroic age and spending all those extra resources on that. There's Nyan getting some nice little snipes here. The other thing here that's good for Nyan to get these little pokes in is he can just heal up all the Terma HP with his Caladria. Yeah, he's been spending his favor nicely. I don't know if he's got... I don't know how many of these Caladria he's actually got out. He's got what looks to be... He's got 3 out at the moment, so it's a nice healthy amount. And you can keep on building them. These things don't really fall off throughout the game. Like any healing, like you can basically pay off a Caladria with the healing. So it's well worth it to just keep on building these bad boys. At least in my experience. Some copper weapons, copper shields on the way. Villagers pulling off of this position right now as the Scarab pops out of the temple. And Kido is going to immediately be dropping this Migdol stronghold, of which Lion's got no line of sight here. And he will be moving down. He might be able to notice it. He does see the Migdol stronghold coming up. So this is a big opportunity for a big fight, a big deny on this position. Heavy Slingers is coming through. Carnivora gets dropped down over onto this position, 10 seconds away from the Migdol stronghold to be completed as the Mamilo heroes charging through. But Shifting Sands does get dropped down here, and the villagers get pulled back into the main base. And now Kido is in a lot of trouble. His Migdol doesn't get snuck up. He's got 300 gold in the bank. He's obviously behind on villagers because of, well, he's gone to the heroic age, so he's behind on villagers. Now what I think the best move for Nyan here would be to just get himself out an extra 3 or 4 oracles, place them all very aggressively around the map. That gives you extra favor for more Carnivora, for more Caladria, for more heroes. And then you're good to go. But Kido at the moment, he does have himself his upgraded Slingers. He just doesn't have any gold income right now, so he is trading for the time being. But he will be able to get himself out somewhat of an army here. So maybe the best move for Nyan is actually to grab himself a second talent center. If he maybe grabs the one in the middle, and then he can start really pushing his economic lead, probably not a bad decision there. But he's going for the Oracle route, though they're really all just kind of sitting back, being very, very defensive. I think the thing is, when your opponent doesn't have any speedy units, that's when you can take advantage of those oracles being very aggressive. It's best done with Oranos because you can put the aggressive Sky Passage in. Kronos also can do something similar by time shifting manas for it, so at least you have a little bit of recourse to defend your oracles. Wow, look at this army here from Kido. Are there any armory upgrades in? Yes, there are. And I think right now a heroic age is like a must, as I think this Slinger ball is too scary for Nyan to even take any sort of a fight. Like, I look at it and you're like, he's got a crazy army here. You need mass heroes, you need Contarius, you need all the other good stuff. There's a nice little decision here from Nyan to just go up to the main base. They got a couple of houses. Attack your opponent where they're weak, but Kido uses this as an opportunity to just move over here and solidify this position. Losing a couple of houses, a temple, doesn't really hurt that much as Ra, because you can just rebuild them underneath the Monument Empowerment. Now, we will see a second town center up for Nyan, but He is upgrading his heavy infantry. I know he's already got the Murmillo out. Probably a mistake because we didn't really read the comp of what Kido's going for, but he does need to go into Contarius immediately here. There's not another option. Contarius, maybe Destroyer. Making Behemoth and Caraballister. I mean, on the plus side here, while Kido's army is insane, and really, and basically Nyan can't fight this army in the slightest here, Kido's scared of Contarius, and he's got no pushing power. So the best he can do is walk forward and push the villagers off of positions, and they just have to run away and then move on to a place where the slingers aren't, basically. As the spearman will be checking out things over here. We've got Horus pre-queued for Kido. I feel like Kido, with this scout, should realize he can be pretty aggressive here. Like, oftentimes, the hardest part about playing Egyptian is realizing when you've got the advantage, so to speak, when you can be the aggressor. And right now, this is the best time for Kido to do anything. As the slingers do manage to murder one Caladria there. Little bits of damage coming in. Does Kido have himself ballistics? He does. But yeah, these units are going to be so strong. He's got the wall on the back as well. Absolutely love that. As now a Behemoth coming through. Can bring a Pharaoh over and start dealing with that, no problems. Carnivora getting dropped down onto this position as Kido absolutely dominating this army of Nyan. Like, the only unit to build right now is Contarius, and we're now only just starting to see... He's still building Murmillo. It's absolutely wild to see. Kido needs to think about... I mean, he's going to go to the Mythic Age, which can work. There's no... I mean, it can work. But I feel like the town center angle, just get 2 TCs and just play for the late game is going to be really tough for Nyan to do anything here. Getting Mythic Age, maybe if he goes for 2 extra monuments and then go Mythic Age so you can at least build Avengers. Or Mythic Age and then 2 monuments and build Avengers. Like, either which way, just like be prepared that you're basically going to the Mythic Age for Myth units for the strength of that late game. But maybe it doesn't matter because, like, Nyan just can't figure this one out. He's now he is building some Contarius. Part of the problem here, I think, for Nyan is because he's gone for Rhea instead of for Thea. His Contarius is a little bit weaker, so he really doesn't want to build them. But realistically, Contarius counter Slinger regardless of what upgrades they've got. It doesn't matter what upgrades they've got. They're always going to be countering the Slinger. Implode is another angle here for sure. Take out all of the slingers have only got 72 HP, so they'll all die to an implode. But I feel like the army will just come back out and you've still got the same problem. Meanwhile, Migdol now down. Mythic Age for Kido will be on the way. He's popping up another Migdol over onto this side. And the Spearman coming through as the Siege Tower says, all right, let's go after this position now. And that Contarius will go down. Town Center will fall. But Nyan's on 3 Town Centers. So this is the big advantage that he's got. The big advantage he's got is he's got Trader to take out at least one Avenger, which is why I was saying build 3 or build 2 extra monuments and then go Mythic Age so you can build multiple Avengers. Trader comes in to take 1. Doesn't really matter. But in this situation, Trader is going to be really helpful to take away that 1. He's got economy up the wazoo, so losing up an army to a tornado is not really going to be that big of a problem. The Kido's still got to really find some big value with this. And Nyan's playing a nice little game of keep away here. Palace in the center of the map to go down, which you see a little bit of scouting over onto this side. Looking for these villagers. Let's find a whole bunch over onto this side as he sees that market there. I don't even know where... Oh, trader onto the Scarab. Thought maybe he traded this. Traded the Wadget, keep the citizens alive. But he must have missed on that one as the Contarius pulling out of here. Looking for raids over onto this side. Completely ignoring this death ball. As now J Atlas is coming in. The Scarab does die. Tornado getting dropped into the main base here. The army not garrisoning. Nyan garrison. Wait, they can garrison, right? Or maybe they can't. No, they can garrison. Nyan does not garrison there. Loses not really that much pop, but he is losing. Never mind. The population dies in the end there. As the town center also goes down. A couple of citizens also falling. And Kido, he's found himself in a very, very good position with that tornado. That was like a max value tornado. Kills a town center, kills a whole bunch of units. Normally it's one or the other with that god power. Now Kido says time for a town center, but that might be a little bit on the late side. We'll see if it's going to work out for him. Couple of oracles going down here. Nyan's down to now 2 oracles. He does still have 1 town center. He's at 72 villages. So his economy is still completely fine. But any advantage here that Nyan might have had has just gone down the window. We try to steal this town center, but the Pharaoh is in from Kido to deny this. As these citizens bailing out onto this side, but Kido sees it. He sees it with the obelisk over here. But the army coming in onto the backside. And there's going to be implode. You have to drop implode here. And all of these units of Kido's are going to die as my frames fall off a cliff. They're still going to get a decent amount of damage done before they end up getting sucked in here. But that there, ladies and gentlemen, is a dead Slinger death ball. A couple of Wadgets will survive, but they will get picked off very quickly afterwards. And now, just as Kido took the advantage with his Mythic Age God Power, it seems like Nyan will be able to take it back to some degree here. Spearman coming in to take out those Contarius. One little cheeky Avenger here getting a lot of value while that Trader is on cooldown. To the top side now, the Migdol Stronghold is going to be up. Villagers will at least be able to grab this position and stay alive. And a little bit of scramble now from both players to just get themselves sorted out moving forward. I imagine the comp here for Kido is still just going to be Spearman Slinger. There's no need to move away from that. Camel Riders don't really make sense. Maybe as like a chasing down Contarius type unit, I guess. But you do have like 5.5 speed Spearman. One straggler behemoth. Not going to be enough, I don't think, to take out this town center, especially with villagers coming through to defend. But man, both players' economy is absolutely shook right now. But it is looking like Nyan has got some sort of an initiative here going. He's got a bit of an advantage over here. The units up onto the top looking for villagers to kill. There is a gold mine to check out, and there are citizens there. That's going to be some kills. But both players' economy is going to be hurting even more here. All the citizen going down is gigantic, but there are 9 villagers on this position. A couple of mercenary do get popped out. These villagers going to make a break for it back behind their walls. But Kido's gold is now starting to look very... No, he's still got a gold mine at the top. He's okay. There's no problems here. But 9 kills the town center. 58 villages to 60 villages. This is advantage Egyptian. Unless the economic upgrades aren't in, of which Kido's got most of it. They got the same. Oh, no. I think he doesn't have any upgrades. Oh, never mind. Upgrade advantage for neither player. It's the raiding party. Will be able to get back home, but does take a couple of hits of damage here. And we actually see Axeman coming through now. Axemen do make some sense here, but you do have to get the upgrades in, and they are somewhat costly. This one doesn't matter that much, but it is nice to have. Obviously, the main line upgrades. As the army comes over onto the top side. This gold mine is everything for Kido. I mean, he could move forward while the army is out of position, hitting this top spot and drop his Migdol in the middle. We'll see how things are going to go as the Argus does get sniped. And the Spearmen will defend over here. A couple of villagers need to make a run for it. Do they have themselves... They do have that upgrade, Skin of the Rhino, so no problems there. As the Contarius go down. And Kido will be able to pull back behind his walls to continue along here. But for now, it's now 2 TC for Nyan. He's going to try and push himself back up to 100 villages and get his economy into a nice spot. But I think that Kido, yeah, he can grab this town center no problems, and he should be fine to stay relatively close here. Taking a fight before Heavy Axeman is a little bit crazy, but we'll see if it's going to work. There's the Carnivora to come down. And Kido saying, I can take the fight in this one. He does have the Priest here. He's got to actually take out the Carnivora, though, but that's not going to happen. And now Kido has to pull back behind the wall. And the Slinger mass is back on the table. How many Slingers do you want? We ask Kido, and Kido says yes. I mean, this is majority Murmillo from Nyan here. It kind of makes some sense to keep going into these bad boys. At least up until when you get the Axeman upgrades in. And Kido has still got Rain in his back pocket, so he can go into farms, dropping granaries down to start that up. But, I mean, going into farms is tough. He does have himself his upgrade for them, so it's somewhat cheap. Units coming over onto this side now. Rain pays off those farms pretty nicely. You get like a 150% bonus from them. I think it gives you around about 70 extra food per farm or something like that. From memory, that's a memory. That's not math. That's a memory. So it pays off like a regular farm, but it gives you an extra little bit of food for a non-regular farm, for a Shadoof farm. The Migdol gets taken down. Now, Kido has to make a choice. Go into the center or try and get back up onto this side. But Nyan pulling back. Walls need to start coming up here for Kido. He's got them all on the bottom side, so he's got those all defended. But this top position here, this wall would be so helpful for him. Units to come through and hit this gold mine yet again. Kido has to pull back. He is at full pop. He is at full pop. Armory upgrade situation. Nearly full bronze for Nyan. On the other side, same exact upgrades for Kido. But still doesn't have his Axeman upgrade. I mean, he's only got 6 of them, so it's not the biggest deal, but that Axeman upgrade is so good. I think it's like a 15% boost or something. 15%. Absolutely huge. The Slinger's out of position as he needs to defend his Migdol while grabbing this spot here. But it's looking like Nyan just can't break through this. He has to pull back behind the palace. Up onto the top side now. The siege tower going to come through and try and take out the town center. It's just like the ball of Slinger. Is it going to be enough? Once all the infantry gets surrounding on this one, I don't know if it is. And also, Carnivore, a really nice usage of that one because it makes the Slingers all focus the Carnivora at the back instead of the army that it's doing the most amount of damage to. And Nyan looks like he does manage to break through this army for the time being here. More Contarius coming through. Siege tower going to be rolling in. A rain comes in now from Kido. How many farms does he actually have? He's got 26 farms now. So this reign gives him a huge boost to the economy to make spearmen, axemen, and get his upgrades in, which is something that he really, really needs. Because he's facing up champion units with his medium axe. Of course, he's got champion slingers as well. Now we're going to see that leather frame shield to come through. Not the most helpful right now, as there's not a single ranged unit getting trained. The siege tower to roll through and continue to keep on hitting that town center. The big problem here for Kido, like, does he have fortified town centers? No. I was going to say the big problem is this town center, but so long as he grabs fortified town centers soon, it's not the biggest of deals. But Nyan does manage to get himself back up to 200 population nice and quick. He does have the villager lead as well. It's the Horus army engaging down on military resource value there. And this is just going to mean Nyan's going to keep on winning these fights over and over and over and over and over again. See, Argus gets picked off. And the villagers getting pulled away from here. There is a trade route started, though, for Kido. Oftentimes, one of the sort of, like, pseudo-win conditions for Ra against Atlantean is actually just to get your trade route. And if you sort of know that, and you get it set up nice and early, and you just keep playing defense, you can sort of get through a lot of this stuff. Because it's like, once this gold mine's gone, we just lose, right? But if we have the trade route, we can get fully upgraded. It doesn't really matter how far behind we are on economy or whatever, on map presence. As long as we can get that infinite army going, all of a sudden this Atlantean army just can't really compete. Of course, there's a lot of ifs being said there. So we'll see if Kido can get that trade route going and be in a good spot. He's got 20 camel caravans right now. So if he can bring that Pharaoh over and start empowering up, get himself up to full pop with fortified town centers, should be okay to move out of his base. On the flip side here, Nyan can grab this town center. He can also go for his own trade route, and the Gaia trade route is stonking. So as soon as you start the trade route, one little trick is to just go ahead and just drop the economic guilds along the camel or the llama caravan route, and they're going to go up to a really, really fast speed, so you get a lot more gold than everyone else. I think it's comparable to Egyptians. This is like a 20% boost of movement speed. It might even be more than Egyptians. I don't really know. As the Spearmen do manage to catch those Contarius out, and they do have a crazy bonus versus Cav here, so they will absolutely murder them. Both players at full pop now as middle pallets coming through. Kido does have now fortified town centers on the way. He's getting closer and closer to this point where he's going to be in a really good spot. But Fnatic here are an interesting unit because they do technically beat Axemen and they beat Spearmen. So, what is you have to go into Slinger again? Or is it worthwhile making some Chariot Archers? Actually, I'm not sure if they beat Axemen. I have to do some tests on that. Horus Axemen, fully upgraded. Armory situation. Still, Kido falling behind here as Nyan slowly pushing ahead. That rain coming down as well. He doesn't really want to spend his favor on myth units because of that trader on the other side. But if you've got the favor, you got to build them in a burst. So build 3 myth units, 1 trader comes down, the other 2 myth units can kill off that traded myth unit, and you're good to get some value there. Kido looking for full value out of these spearmen, taking out villages in the main base, going for trade caravans and the like. This one gold mine left for Nyan. He does have this one to potentially grab as well, though, on the front, as Kido hasn't been able to secure it. And Kido actually really struggling for resources here. He is making some chariot archers as an idea to try and deal with those fanatics, but Axemen have now got themselves up to heavy. Is this going to be where Nyan manages to get the kill or not is the big question. These fanatics have been led all the way around the map here. Fighting underneath that Citadel Center is exactly what Kido is going to be wanting, though, to sort of deal with these units for a low value. We have now Behemoth to come through. This flank's going to get picked off pretty quickly as the forward citizen getting taken out. Does manage to finish the Economic Guild, which does give a nice little creep spread into the main base here for Nyan. As Nyan says, straight down the jugular is the way to go. He's got himself a huge amount of food and gold. Sorry, wood in the bank, but that gold is really, really struggling. Carnivora gets planted down. Both players kind of struggling to get the resources out here. As Bonebo to come through. Bonebo does just give range onto the chariot archers. The only thing is it doesn't really do much for the chariot archer unless you're going to be microing them, I guess. But up onto the top side, fortified town center under attack. Got to bring some villagers over and just shank. This guy has 840 HP. On the front of his face, he's got like 1,600 HP, 1,680 HP. But on the back of his face, he's only got 840. So Town Center does manage to stay alive. Priest can heal that back up. Still no resources to even try and grab this town center for Kido. I guess he doesn't even think it matters because he's not at full pop. Once he gets to full pop, he can start thinking about moving forward here. But Nyan as well is like, I don't want that town center either. I guess he feels like he can't afford it. So he can barely stay at population as well, so it's not even going to help him that much. As champion chariots will be on the way. And this is allowing Kido a lot of play here. He's getting through those fanatics nicely. Contarius are going to be coming through, allowing spearmen to be the answer. And you can kind of just go spearman chariot archer as well here. You don't even have to get those axemen out. And as the citizens get pulled off of this gold mine, it's time for a quick check on the llama caravans, as Nyan does have the full amount. And let's just have a look. Look at how fast they move. 5.2 speed compared to 4.6 speed off of Lush. So it is important to get all of that Lush up for your Gaia Highway, Trade Route Highway. The Gaia Llama Trade Route Highway. But Nyan pulling back. And can he break through all of this is the big question. Can Kido convert here is the other big question. I think Kido's in a pretty nice spot. He just needs to make sure that he's microing his chariot archers. Letting them get taken out here, not ideal. The spearmen will be able to get in here in front line. The fact of the matter is these units are so quick on top of this Gaia Lush. You just don't want to be there. Get away from the Lush. Room for another rain here, perhaps, to help get just that little bit more food in. It's going to hurt or sting to drop 75 favor on a rain, but I think that's exactly what Kido needs. But maybe it's a little bit too late there, as he's now dropped down to only a handful of chariot archers. As Nyan is staying very true on that 235 pop, now able to get himself that fourth town center. I guess Kido just can't He was stabilized. I don't think he needed to play so aggressive forward. Play over onto this side. Off of the lush, he probably would have been okay. Sometimes one little bit of a mistake in the late game is all it matters, all that it takes to lose a game. But Kido's still got a chance here. He can come up, deal with all of this. He's got the walls set up, so a catapult behind these walls to hit the town center and take that out. Carnivore getting dropped down here as the villagers will pull off, jump into the town center. It's just not going to be enough population here for Kido. Does manage to take out all the Contarius, however. Now the Fire Siphon going to continue to make their way into this middle position. Take out the Citadel Center potentially here as well. Is there anything at the moment Kido can do to stop the pain? I don't think so. I mean, Avengers doesn't have the favor, doesn't have the resources for it. All the spearmen getting greeted by fanatics. The Axemen will be able to at least deal with the destroyers, with the Citadel Center now under attack. And one thing that Nyan can do now at full pop is he can start putting palaces everywhere. Over onto this side here as well, he's dropping his economic guilds, but he can get more military buildings or more defensive buildings to take all of the map. Mercenary infantry will come through. We'll be able to deal with the Fire Siphon. Looks like Nyan is just going to be continuing to squeeze here. He's sitting at full pop. Do you have any idle units anywhere? No, they're just all moving across the map, basically. And in that moment there, Kido does say that the game is lost. 42 minutes of pain, of craziness. Mistakes aplenty. But an absolutely wild game. There was one moment here where I thought Kido was stabilized, but he sort of just moved forward, didn't micro the chariot archers at all, and he got overrun on that moment. I think if he just maybe was a little bit more patient with that, got himself those armory upgrades sorted out. I don't think I can check them anymore. Is there a unit out somewhere? There is. Got these armory upgrades sorted out, and then play for this town center over here while defending. He's probably okay to try and take this game. But well played here to Nyan Racing Cat. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.